We've pretty much finished the restoration on the Hemi Challenger now, and you've watched us start from a car that was together, wasn't running, and then we stripped the car down entirely. We bagged everything, we checked everything, then we soda blasted and sand blasted this car. We did all of the metal work, we put it into primer, we did all of the body work. We made sure that the car was dead straight. We spent hours and hours on that. Then Greg put on the paint. We spent hours sanding and polishing the paint after the paint was laid on. The next thing we did is we were at Active Engines. Mike Curley rebuilt the motor, did a great job. We made some good horsepower. Tranny and rear end at Milltown Transmission, totally rebuilt. Classic Tube did all the brakes for us. They came out like new. Diamond Interior did the upholstery on this. It was like new. We final assembled the car. The car is the way it is right now, pretty much finished, but one of the keys to a restoration is to make sure that it drives as good as it looks. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take it on a road test. We're going to make sure all the gauges work. We're going to listen for rattles, squeaks, anything like that. Then we're going to bring it back here, go through the list, make sure it's 100% before we take it down the drag strip. So let's take it for a road test. Well, we're taking it out on its maiden voyage, and a few things that you notice right away is it's not a loud car. It's got a totally stock exhaust system on it. It's a totally stock motor. A couple of things that we want to look for first is we want to get it up to temperature, check the oil pressure. The temperature's moved a little bit right now, but it's a fairly cold day. Oil pressure is great. It's almost near the high side. We can see the gauge as far as the charging. It's slightly charging, which is good. Fuel gauge works. We've got a quarter tank in it. Speedo seems fairly accurate. The only thing I've noticed so far is the tach has stuck now at 2,500 RPM. So there's a problem there. That's something that Jason's going to have to address when we get back. We'll drive it through the gears, see if the tranny shifts nice. It was totally rebuilt. This seems to work nice. The car pulls good and is driving fairly straight. One of the other things is we did take it in for an alignment, but the steering wheel isn't quite centered yet, so we're going to have to adjust that through the tie rod. So that's another thing that we'll have Jason look at. The whole idea behind taking one of these things for a drive after the restoration is done is you want to make sure that everything's working. You want to check the wipers. We actually get a little bit of rain. It's ironic. We had a little rain when we started this, and we have a little rain as we're finishing it. But the wipers work fine. You want to check all the lights. We've checked the lights. We got brake lights. We got turn signals. Same thing that you'd need for a safety. Even things like the reverse lights, you want to make sure they're working. And on the dash on this thing, it's got a little indicator to show that you're in reverse. It works. So 90% of this restoration is complete. But what we've got to do is drive it for 10 or 15 minutes, get it up to temperature, make sure it doesn't run hot, make sure nothing else develops as we drive it for a while. And of course, we do get the pleasure of driving it for about 15 minutes.
How does it work?
Actually really good. The car drives and runs excellent. Couple real minor things. The tach stuck at 2,500 RPM. The steering wheel's off a little bit. It's going to have to be aligned again. But other than that, I mean, ran great. Took it out for like 15 minutes. No overheating. Runs nails. Now, we got to take it to the drag strip, and I want this thing running as hard as possible. What do you want to do to set it up?
First of all, we want to make sure the fuel's got the best quality in it. We're probably going to put a little bit of race gas in it, bump the timing ahead, make sure that everything's going to work properly. Then we're going to make sure all the tire pressures are set properly. And then as far as nut and bolting, go from front to back to make sure everything's 100% tight. Last thing, we're going to make sure that the carbs are set up properly, the jetting and the fuel and what have you. And then after that, go have some fun.
Awesome. I think we have a little surprise for Tom in store. He's going to be running another Challenger.